Hello, everybody. Welcome to Berardi and Coke from the Auto Know Better podcast. I'm Smarty, and tonight I'm joined by Jay. Positive Jay today, negative Jay. We'll soon see. I'm going to be talking about the defeat to Newcastle at home. So grab a brew, and we'll see you in a second. Hello. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. Still in one piece. Yeah, just about. I'm half dead, but.
Apologies for the lateness of this one. Myself and Jay were supposed to be here last night, but because of what happened, we thought, fuck it, we're going to go and spend a few pennies and have a few beers at Peacock instead. Probably the wise decision, to be honest, mate. It's given me.
I did end up getting punched in 3 legs, but apart from
apart from that,
we're all right. To be fair,
apart from being intact in 3 legs, but no, it's given me a bit of time to reflect. But to be honest, I haven't really changed my mind, changed my opinions about anything. I don't know about you. No. I mean, what do you make of that from yesterday then?
Well, if that cat had stopped scratching the fucking chair arm, that'd be a start. Hi. Do you know what? Watching that game was so frustrating, and the guy next to me kept saying, "Oh, it's hard to watch this. It's hard to watch," and it were one of them, wasn't it? You could feel what was going to happen. The fact we had chance after chance after chance, and we did nothing with it.
Yeah,
and you just knew. And I said to the guy, I said, if we don't score soon, at about sort of 60, 65 minutes, I said, if we don't score soon, we're going to end up losing this game. Because
you know what, mate? I said exactly the same thing to the people that are around me. Exactly, literally on 60 minutes. It was 60 minutes in, and I said exactly the same. He goes, "This is going to be." I don't know about you, but like there were a bit of an air before people. I mean, we ran a poll before the actual game kicked off, maybe a couple of hours, and 85% of people out of 339 votes went for a Leeds win. The amount of people and stuff that were that confident. I mean, we've got a few friends that were, doing all sorts of stuff and saying all sorts of stuff on Twitter, and they were like, "Don't count your chickens yet." Do you know what I mean?
I were worried, mate,
because and stuff.
Yeah, it's always those games that you think you should win. They're the ones that we seem to struggle with.
Yeah.
I mean, somebody on Twitter said they expected us to get beat by West Ham and to beat Newcastle. So in that sense, we're no worse off points-wise than people probably expected from those 2 games. But I find it hard to look at stuff like that because to me, you want to be building on wins against teams like West Ham. You need to be taking that confidence, and now more than ever, you need to get a bit of a run going, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. Especially when obviously, Newcastle are struggling for form and have struggled to perform all season, haven't they? And to be honest, mate, from watching that yesterday, it's a long road for them to get out of that, bottom 3. There's a few teams obviously there in the mix and stuff like that, but they were terrible. They were terrible.
They were.
The scoreline certainly did not, reflect the performance. However, like you said, we were the best. We were wasteful. I thought the passing, especially in the first half, I thought we played some really, really good football.
We did.
Went in 0-0 at the break, and I thought, okay, we're finding his feet. I don't know what it is about changing the way we piss and play at first half at the minute, but we always seem to be shooting towards Cop at first half. It's never like that normally.
Yeah, it's the other teams, I think, that choose to change ends.
I don't know whether it's probably not a mental thing, whether it's sort of, whether it's a mental thing. I don't know. I doubt it. I'm reading too much into it, but I don't like it, and it always it's instantly like unsettles me.
Yeah, no, we don't seem to score very often at that end.
No, it's usually I suppose it's better for me, like in second half, on a few occasions when they've been shooting towards Southend for second half, and I've seen quite a few goals. You know what I mean? But
yeah,
I still prefer to play towards Southend first half and towards Cop second half. But
I do. It just feels like that's what we do.
We've got a few guys in the comments. Keep your comments coming tonight, fellas and ladies. If there is any of you out there, not that we've ever seen any comments from anyone else, apart from Luke.
I'm gonna say
we've got Brenner's Ghost in the house. Michael Brown, Luke's in the comments as well. Probably going to get some abuse at some point as well.
Most likely, I would have thought.
What it is. So yeah, like I say, we gained some good ground, and we got into some good moments, as Bielsa would say. We had some good moments. We pressed them. We played quite well, but it's just that killer instinct in final third. There were a few times when there were people sliding in or not in the right position to obviously slot up a few balls. I thought we're probably going to have to address the elephant in the room at some point regarding Tyler Roberts.
Oh God!
Whatever your thoughts are about Tyler or whatever. But that goal then that they scored, should he have done better, Meslier even?
To be honest with you, I was that far away from it. I could barely tell what happened, other than it ended up in back at net. I would just. It didn't look like something that he should have been really that troubled by. But as I say, I couldn't see it properly. It was so far away. I'm getting old now. I can't see stuff properly that far away.
Well, obviously, if there's anyone stood in front of you, you're knackered anyway, aren't you?
Well, that's it. Do you know what I mean?
Unless you've got a yellow pages smuggled in there.
To be fair, just stand on the seat, you know what I mean?
Get on someone's shoulders.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Until the back gives and I flatten them.
No, to be honest, I saw it go in, but you're right. I struggled to see it clearly because, it looked to me like it might have taken a deflection, but it didn't. But when I've actually watched the highlights back, I don't know who it was, but it looked like there was someone in an offside position that went to play the ball.
Yeah,
I don't know whether obviously Meslier's seen that and anticipated it. Obviously, nothing's come of it, and it's been too late. I don't know because it's not something that you normally see Meslier concede that sort of shot.
No, I've not been able to watch it yet.
No, I do because, like I say, the first half's well worth a watch. We were definitely on top. In fact, to be honest, we were definitely on top most of the game. But that shot, I don't know whether they were expecting it to go over the wall. It went kind of round and not underneath, obviously, but round, the low side of the wall. Yeah. It kind of caught him off a little bit. But no, it was unfortunate to concede. And then at that point, obviously, after the time wasting and everything else, they actually started to play a little bit of football, did Newcastle?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, the reason I said to the guys next to me, I said that, if we don't score soon, we're going to lose this game, is because although we had the majority of the ball and we had so many chances, we weren't stopping them getting into our box. They were still getting in, they were still getting chances, and I felt like they were probably going to get at least one goal at some point. And unfortunately, that's what happened. But, I mean, what is the point of VAR? I'm going to ask you that because they had a really good shot that Meslier did a fantastic save from. That all came from the ball being 3 yards over the bloody line when Meslier touched it, and they gave him a corner. It were out of play. He did that thing, where they dive and they cover, but he saved it after it had gone off, and they gave them a corner, and then they nearly scored from it, which would have been typical. And besides that, you mentioned the possibility of players offside during the goal. I mean, that didn't get looked at either.
It looked like you were in an offside position and went to play balls. So if that's not interfering with play, then I don't know what is.
Well, if you move towards the ball, you are involved in play.
Exactly, but we saw it against West Ham and we got absolutely nothing for it. So why expect something against Newcastle?
I remember when we all thought that getting out of the Championship were going to be like this big breakthrough with regards to like how we got treated by refs and how we were on the wrong end of decisions so often. And you think, oh, VAR, they can't get it wrong because they can replay it, they can check it. Fucking hell. It's completely opposite to that, isn't it? It just doesn't seem to make any difference.
Without going too much into it, though, because obviously we've covered it on main pod and stuff like that. It's for me. I mean, I know there's certain algorithms and stuff that look into it, but there's too much interpretation, and that's what it is at the end of the day. The VAR in a computer that draws lines and comes up with some sort of result. It's another guy's interpretation of what the referee has missed or whether he hasn't missed, or if they go to look at it, then what do you think? Oh no, I don't want to, and there's too much covering for other refs as well. I know the people have said that.
I've heard that said a lot.
VAR refs don't really want to throw the guy on the field under the bus, but not being funny. But that's the whole point of having VAR.
Exactly. The whole point is that the guy on the field can't see everything. You just can't. It's not being able to overrule
like a card or something. If a player flies in on someone, I think it worked. I can't remember who got fouled in first half. He went through absolutely went through one of our players,
Mm.
and I thought he was late for a challenge. That's a yellow card. VAR surely would have given that as a yellow card because the referee, whilst in play, has not given anything and not judged it as a foul. Then VAR can't have a rule and say, "Hold on a minute, mate." That would have been
was that the one when he played advantage but never did out about the foul after? Or was that
I think I don't know if it was Dallas who got fouled on touchline, but the ball had gone. He got taken out, and Harrison were down wing. Nothing obviously came of it, but I just thought that should have been pulled. Well, not pulled back because he played advantage, but he should have at least had a card for that, definitely. Whatever. We're not top 6 team, are we? So we don't get these sort of
That happened last week as well. I say last week against Burnley. I'm thinking guy never got booked after ref played advantage, and it should have been a booking, and it keeps happening. And it's so frustrating. It's so frustrating, and I were especially disappointed with Harrison yesterday.
Really?
Because it seemed like he'd gone back to being ineffective. I mean, don't get me wrong, he got in some good positions and stuff, but he didn't give us any killer passes. He didn't make anything. I mean, the effort were there, the endeavour were there. He just wasn't very effective for me.
I know what you're saying.
Although, to be fair, I am fucking knackered and got pissed and might not have remembered that.
I don't think it's an unfair comment, to be honest. But for me, the chances that we did create were not sloppy, but they were a bit. I suppose, probably sloppy. There were moments. I know that Rafinha did a nice bit of trickery in second half over on right side, and he should have probably cut back. I think there were Rodrigo and someone else and edge at box. I thought ideally cut back, and they've got a shot on goal, but he didn't. He just went that little bit too far and got tackled and lost ball.
I remember that.
He just they were a bit wasteful in places, and then obviously not looking up. But whatever it is.
Do you think there an element of complacency that they just thought they were going to keep getting chances because they underestimated Newcastle?
I don't know. I mean, I did watch Match of the Day this morning. I didn't watch it last night because I had enough of football when I got home. But obviously there was Shearer who thought Newcastle had a fantastic game. Like, what fucking
of course he did,
not bad.
Yeah.
Honestly. He said there were a few outstanding player performances. Now, I will give him the Trippier because I think Trippier did probably play quite well. But Lascelles spent most of the time up floor. Yeah. You see how long he was down constantly.
Yeah.
And Speaker had been
down. Were it him that got cramp?
Oh, about 15 times before they went off.
Yeah. Probably won't start looking at if it's that bad.
Yeah, I think it was Gilly who said earlier today that there were only about 11 minutes worth of actual playing time in second half.
Yeah.
Most of the time it was either out or they were fucking dicking around with it. That's just an incredible stat, that. And I've already said I'm going to review it. I'm going to take the time this week to actually watch the full highlights and actually count how many minutes the ball were actually in play for in the second half. But that's an eyebrow raiser, that one.
Yeah,
but going back to the stats. What do you think the stats are? Do you think we battered them on the stats? I mean, obviously the goal they had, the result didn't really reflect how it turned out.
I haven't actually looked at the stats, to be fair, but I would have said that we had more shots and more possession.
You'd be surprised. As I was this afternoon, we did have most possession, but they had more shots than us.
Really?
They had 15 shots to our 13. We had 63% possession to their 37.
That is quite surprising.
When I got home, obviously we went for a few beers last night and stuff like that. But I thought we battered them. They hardly. I can't remember apart from Shelby's shot, which Meslier palmed away, which were a fucking great save, and fair play to him, it was a cracking shot as well. I don't really remember. I mean, I remember Fraser spooning quite a few shots left and right, but I don't really remember anything else.
I don't. It's all a bit of a blur. I remember Dan James missed a fair few chances where he could have done better. I felt a bit sorry for him.
Harrison deflected shot, wasn't it? That fell to him and he kind of like slid in.
Yeah. I mean, he worked his socks off, did James, and I was surprised he got taken off, if I'm honest.
That tackle on Maximin when he booted it from chased him down and tackled him, and that was great. That fair effort to him. Just a quick comment from Michael Brown. No matter how poor Newcastle have been this season, they are fighting for their lives. Leeds simply don't have a cutting edge up front. Newcastle defended in low box and made it difficult. That is true. We also seem to do a decent enough job on Maximin.
Yeah, we did. We kept him fairly quiet. That was funny when Llorente did a little sort of trick and went round him, but I swear to God, stuff like that looks great when you pull it off. But if he'd have screwed that up, he would have got absolutely hammered.
Oh, would he? Oh, would he?
If it were Cooper, there was no need. It were in box.
If it were Cooper who did that, it would be absolutely berated. It would have been slandered all over Twitter and stuff like that. But Llorente, he's got enough credit in bank to kind of escape that sort of stuff.
It's quite careless at times. He gives away a lot of needless free kicks, and he were pulling shirts a lot again yesterday. I've noticed him do that quite a bit, which I think he's sort of brought with him from Spain.
I mean, he rugby tackled. Who was it that he tackled? Who was it that he tackled to bring him down? It wasn't Maximan, was it? Or
for a free kick?
Yeah.
I can't remember.
I can't remember who he tackled, but he practically rugby tackled him down at edge of the box. I mean, I know Llorente were firing into Roberts when he came on and obviously lost the ball, further up the field and stuff. But then again, then he goes and does that. I mean, some people say, it was professional foul, he had to do it. But he had, really? Do you really need to rugby tackle someone at edge of the box that stage?
I'm not so sure about that. No. I had such a bad feeling when we gave that free kick away. I just knew something bad was going to happen.
See, I was talking halfway through it. I would just... I saw Shelby stepping up. I thought, it would be all right here. And then Bosch, you fucking bastard.
I was just watching it thinking, oh my God, this is what I was saying. If we don't score, this is what's going to happen. And yeah, doomsday. It came to pass.
Comment from Gilly. Evening, Gilly. Raf had done it on toast. He had no idea what to do with him. We didn't take advantage. They brought Mankilo on because he couldn't cope. Yeah, right. I thought he did. Oh, it was Mankilo that he brought down Llorente.
Right, okay.
Yeah, I remember now.
I thought Raf did well, to be fair. He got into the box so many times. He got past players. He were on fire yesterday. There must have been times when he were looking across at the rest of the team and thinking, what the fuck are you lot doing?
No, you're right. But, we're missing that creative spark in midfield. I mean, Rodrigo, bless him, he does do a fair bit. And he passed I think he was left-footed outside a boot, straight over defence to play Rafinha.
I remember that.
I can't remember whether that led up to Addison's shot that were deflected or not, but it was a cracking bit of play. I mean, he does create quite a fair bit, and it probably does go a little bit unnoticed. What do you think?
He's a really good passer of the ball. I think it's easy to get annoyed because we had all that possession, we didn't really do anything with it, but you have to remember that we've played nearly an entire season so far without our striker. And, it's just best endeavours at the moment. James is not a striker. He does a lot of good work and he runs his socks off. But an actual striker with that striker's instinct would probably have scored 1 or 2 goals for us yesterday with some of those chances we created. There were times when it got fizzed across the goal, and there were nobody there to just put a foot on it because there was nobody in the right place.
Yeah,
and that's something that you're going to get when you're playing someone out of position up front like that.
But you do look at spaces that Bamford would normally occupy, are the spaces where the ball was predominantly being played to. You don't see a right lot of...
Because that's our game.
Yeah, exactly. And you expect... Bamford and everyone knows how they play together. But now, because you've got that missing link up front, you're having someone like Dan James, who's a little midget, trying to play up, and hold up the ball or chase after it. I mean, don't get me wrong. I've got a lot of time for Dan James. I think he's getting better with every game. I think he's...
I do.
But you're missing that presence up front. And he does so much more than just chase after balls and stuff. It takes players out of position for others to occupy space. And, I mean, I don't have to explain to everyone. Everyone knows what Bamford does. But yeah, it's something that I don't know why we're not looking at replacing the transfer window, to be honest. Even someone just to bring in, I mean, you're probably talking, plenty of money. But if it were up to you, if you could choose between a number 10 and a replacement or a backup number 9, who would you go for at the minute?
I would probably choose a 10, if I'm honest, because I think that if we had a decent 10 creating chances and playing them little through balls and that sort of stuff, I think that with who we've got, I think sort of Joffrey would be fine up front. He'd score some goals for us. And I think that's why I'd choose a 10 over a 9. I think we do have a couple of players in there that we could use. Rodrigo could play at 9. He's not as good as Bamford there, but he could play at 9. And I think the problem is when you say, why haven't we sort of replaced him or got someone else? What Bielsa's like. The board would say to him, do you want a striker? And he'll say, why do I want a striker? I've got 4 players that can play there.
Yeah.
We're all saying, we need somebody that can actually bang it in the net. He's just saying, no, there's people who can go in that position. It's fine. He doesn't seem so concerned with whether they're prolific or not. He looks at whether they work in his system and how much work they do for the team. I think this probably sounds a bit stupid, but I think in a sense, goals are secondary to him compared to performances and effort, if you know what I mean. He puts a lot of faith in his players, and as long as they work hard, he's happy with them.
We've got another comment from Gillis saying, if we have Forshaw or Phillips in the midfield yesterday, we win that game comfortably. I agree.
I think so too, Somebody to get stuck in and distribute the ball a bit.
It is a massive loss having both Forshaw and Phillips out. Hopefully
terrible.
Forshaw might be back. They all might be back now, after international break or whatever.
He did say he'd be back, didn't he? If he didn't make this game, he said he'd make the next one.
Yeah. When is it next week? When's it now? So
is it that Wednesday night against Villa or something?
It is the gap now, isn't it? 9th of February is his next game. There's plenty of time for us to regroup and get some of these injured players back in. But going back to
no, ignore me. I've put a reminder in my calendar for when Everton tickets go on sale, and I was thinking, I've got an Everton game. No, we haven't. You're right.
12th of February.
I think we did miss those guys. Yeah, I think we did miss them. Somebody to put a foot on it, to go through people if needed. Get stuck in, break up play, distribute the ball.
Control the tempo a little bit better, and look to distribute the ball a little bit better. I don't think Koch did a bad job yesterday. I really don't. I think he did all right.
He didn't. It's square pegs in round holes again, though, isn't it? It's the difference between having somebody natural in a position and somebody who's just doing a job. Yeah. It just brings a different level to it, doesn't it? When you got someone in the correct position.
I was quite surprised that he did, but I was genuinely surprised. Newcastle aren't world beaters, are they? And if Lewis Bates is good enough to play up in that position, FA Cup sort of, and obviously again in the Premier League versus West Ham, then he's good enough for me to play against Newcastle in the Premier League. And it's someone who is naturally in that position. I don't know why you'd bring a defender as good as Koch is, and I'm not slandering, and I'm not having a go at Koch. I think he's a good player, but he just is not a CDM, is he? And he gets pulled around a lot more than when you see Phillips and you see Forshaw. They kind of got a little bit of a free rein and they occupy good pockets of space because they read the game better. Whereas from a Koch point of view, this is just my opinion, he's too defensively minded. He's not looking for that next pass or, who's occupying space, who's the best person to pass to.
Yeah, that's right.
His distribution isn't as good as the other guys, but,
that's right.
I said before, you can only piss with the dick you've got.
That's correct, mate. And mentally, he's going to be playing the way he would normally play, but in a different part of the pitch. Because you play your game, don't you? You can adapt that as best you can, but you're still going to have sort of habits and, traits that you would do because that's just how you play the game. And it comes naturally to you. It's instinctive. So when you put someone in a different position like that, unless it's Stuart Dallas who could play anywhere for some reason,
I want to see him in goals. Just so I know that he's played literally every position for us,
like Lucas Radebe.
Yeah, just get him. Towards the end of the season. So if we play or whatever, just get him in goals.
Yeah, chuck him in for the last 10 minutes.
Go on, Stu. Get your sin in there. I'll go.
Be funny as fuck with that.
Comment from Michael Brown. Bamford, according to Bielsa, won't be back until after the international break, as he now has a new injury and no date for his return. Yes, Mr. Cheese String. He's not doing well at the minute, is he?
No, he's not. I don't know what the hell he's done. It's frustrating though. Don't want him to turn into another Forshaw.
It was such a sight for sore eyes when he came on. And against Brentford, and he
scored such an important goal.
Scored a really important goal, and then bloody injured himself celebrating the glory.
Leads that
chuffing dipstick. But yeah, talking about subs and stuff. Then
confused the hell out of me yesterday.
I watched a little bit of, obviously, told you before, Match at Day, and we'll talk. We'll address the elephant in the room, shall we? Shall we go there?
I'll let you do it.
On fire with the absolute with this topic. So, but before we do, super subs. How many goals have teams scored from substitutions this year? Do you reckon? Who's the top team?
Oh God,
whose subs have made an impact to their games?
Probably Liverpool. Probably Liverpool.
Yeah, you're right.
I'd guess that Jota coming on and scoring a fair few times.
Yeah. Well, Scum are top with 8.
Really?
Liverpool
it's only
6.
table are going to be top of.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Well, apart from Swindon, they have absolute bastards. We won't see the C word because it's Sunday. Liverpool with 6, Arsenal with 5, Palace with 5, and Man City with 5. How many goals have we had from substitution this year?
Wasn't it something like 3?
It is 3. You looked in our group chat earlier, didn't you?
It was mentioned, yeah. That's what's in my head.
I would expect it. I don't know, Smarty. What could it possibly be?
To be fair, if I'd not seen that, I probably would have guessed at like 4 or 5 or something. But yeah, the subs that we do are so strange sometimes. It's bizarre that you've got a coach who's as genius as Bielsa, who then makes such strange decisions sometimes. And you have to believe, there's a reason for that in his mind. It's just none of the rest of us can actually see it sometimes. And it puzzled me. Yeah, it puzzled me yesterday because the way it was going, I didn't think Click should have come off. And when Tyler gets up to come on, I don't mean anything awful against the lad. He makes the effort. He loves playing for the club. But it drains the atmosphere out of the ground because it's got to that point like when Costa used to get up to come on and everyone used to groan. And, it's horrible for the lad. And I wish I could sort of say or do something to stop that being the case, but that just is how it is at the moment because he doesn't have any impact on games and he tries really hard. He does a lot of the right stuff, but there's no end product. I think so, yeah. There's no end product and it often feels like he can't read the game very well.
Yeah.
It's frustrating. And he then brought Joffrey on just after that. And I just thought, why did you not just bring Joffrey on? You didn't need to make the Tyler sub. Could have just left him on the bench, just brought Joffrey on, put him straight up front. Because he went on up front as well, Tyler. But then 5 minutes later, Joffrey's on and he switched to 10 and swapped Joffrey. And it was just all a bit weird. Yeah, we swap around positions too much sometimes in games, and I don't think that helps, especially not at that stage when you're under the cosh.
Yeah, that's the one. We're crying out for someone who would take the game to the opposition. Someone like Joffrey. But yeah, I said the same to you yesterday. As soon as people clocked on that Tyler were getting changed, it was like you could. Oh no! Oh, and then you'd have your sarcastic comments like, "Oh, it's all right, lads. Tyler's coming on."
Yeah,
and that's the way the crowd is now starting to see Tyler. I mean, if he would have started, I wouldn't mind because I do think he's quite a good footballer.
Oh, I do. Yeah, he's got ability.
He just cannot hit a cow's ass with a banjo, can he? That lad, he just cannot score. And I think that he's probably a little bit of a scapegoat because if some players might make a mistake, it's like, and then but he gets absolutely slated to frig.
That's it.
And he's an easy target, but he doesn't help himself because at the end of the day, his performances aren't probably up to scratch. But
but he does try. You can see that the endeavour's there, and you can't fault him for that. He's making the effort. He's just not. He's not somebody that can come on and change a game. So having him come on as a sub at that point when you're chasing a goal, it's the opposite of what we're looking for in the crowd. And as you say, if he started, he works hard, he can run his socks off, get involved in game, do his bit, then somebody else can come on who might change it up a bit. Tyler isn't that player. I know Bielsa, as you say, he can only piss with the dick you've got. He's got to use the players he's got, that's it. But yeah, he's not a game changer. I like the lad. I wish it would come good for him because I can see he tries, as you say, really hard, but he's not a game changer.
No. I mean, well, that's why I asked you about the super subs. We've had three goals from substitutions made this year. Gellert versus Chelsea, Bamford versus Brentford, and then Dan James versus Burnley. All pretty much roughly the same sort of time period as well, just before Christmas.
Dan James, when he launched himself into air like a gazelle.
Like a leaping salmon.
Went over the top of that lad, didn't he? Just straight in. Bang. God knows how he got up that high.
Jeffrey got injured when Sam Greenwood fell on him. Yeah, it is apparently. There seems to be a lot of people falling all over the place in Chuffing at Thorpe Park. She must have them pissed in dinner time or something.
Maybe they
lunch, lads.
He likes them to sort of understand what it's like for fans. Maybe they've got like a mini cheese wedge in there, and they just have to like do limbs. Have to watch some videos of us scoring goals, and then everyone just fucking ends up on top of each other, just so they know what it's like for us in crowd. I get injured every fucking week.
When I put a tweet out last night, it said if the Tyler substitution had been Gellert, then the crowd goes mad. The players, react to that, and
you get that lift.
Yeah, of course they do. The crowd's lifted because it was starting to go a little bit flat. That lifts the players in turn, and it'll literally been a cauldron of noise. But because there's such ill feeling towards Tyler, it like you say, it kind of just sapped every little bit of not emotion, but it was just like dead. It was deadly silence. Yeah. Tyler comes on as soon as he makes a mistake, and that's when your groans and stuff start coming on. It's like,
that's it. So, like you're watching in anticipation, you're hoping there's going to be a chance, you're hoping we're going to get back in the game, and then you see someone come on who you think lessens the chances of that, and that's difficult. That's difficult to deal with.
Just have a look at comment from Luke.
I thought you'd frozen then. I thought you'd gone into like another dimension. You were just
no, sorry. I'm not used to that many people commenting. Usually there's only me and you having a chinwag. It's Sunday. I expect people to be watching Songs of Praise or something. If Bielsa had his way, these lads would be playing 180 minutes in the under 23s before they're back in the first team. How would we feel if he came back too early and aggravated the injury? You're probably right. I think
that's fair enough.
He must be talking about Tyler or Joffrey, but at the end of the day, they were both. Roberts went off with an injury against Burnley, didn't he?
I can't remember.
He was linked off, didn't he?
I
said it was a case of the shit shot-itis and he was embarrassed, so he went off with an injury. But I don't know.
So he couldn't do any more damage.
Yeah, Christ, I'm going to feel an injury. I'm having a bad day. But, time's ticking away. It's coming to the end of January. And obviously the closure of the transfer window. Still nothing on the Brendan Aronson deal.
They must think something's They must think there's a chance.
Have you seen anything from him apart from, word on the street?
I haven't actually watched anything about him because I don't want to get invested in him and then not sign him. So I'm trying to avoid getting hyped up because if I start telling myself, oh, this lad's coming in, he's going to be answer to all our problems. Look how good he is on YouTube. I mean, Pavel Chibitsky looked great on YouTube, and now he's doing a 3-year ban for spot fixing.
He looked like he should be running around.
He looked great on YouTube.
He looked like he should be running around Sweden with a chuffing dog leash, trying to catch dogs on the streets. He was a proper oddball in, wasn't he?
He really was. He really was.
I've done a bit of research on this Brendan Aronson. That much so that I get his name wrong. And he does look like a good player. He does look, he's an attacking-minded player. But from what I've seen and from what reports I've seen and the scouting reports that I've read, the creativity factor isn't as high as it is maybe seen for the for the attacking prowess that he's got. I've got a few little bits and bobs. Probably go more into it in the main pod or whatever.
Is he more of an 8 or a 10?
Sorry?
Is he more of an 8 or a 10?
He's more of a 10.
In
fact, to be honest with you, he's more of a. I think he plays more on wings. Is he yanking it?
Yeah,
likes a long shot. He does like a long shot, but hopefully, give or take, we might be able to get him in the window and stuff. I'll probably ask the lads on Tuesday when we do the main pod what we think of the potential side. Hopefully, we might have heard a little bit more before then, but you never know. We like.
Well, no doubt. That'll be the one that wins the poll again, probably. So
possibly, you have to start coming up with some different stuff.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, to be fair, a couple of weeks ago, if you'd asked me, I would have said, "Oh, we're fucked if we don't sign anyone. We're going down." I have changed my view a little bit now. I feel like with the way we've used a few of the 23s recently, I feel like we've expanded the squad by about 5 players now, and they have shown that they've got some quality there. They're not.
What a couple of players coming back can do for you.
Yeah, that's it. They're not finished articles by any means because they're just young lads coming through, but they've shown that they can fill in and do a job when needed. They have got something about them, and that's a bit reassuring for me. I do still feel like we'll be okay if we don't sign anyone now, whereas before I thought we probably wouldn't. But I think it'll be easier if we can get a couple of bodies in. The way it's going, I don't see us getting any more than Aronson, to be fair, if we do get him. There's people saying about getting a striker. I just can't see that. Like I said before,
I don't think we'll get a striker. You know,
no, he's got players.
I'd love to win £1 million, but you know, it ain't gonna happen. I don't want it to happen. You know, it's
I want a moonwalk, but life's a shithouse.
You're in a wheelchair. You just throw me off. Just throw me off completely. I don't even know what I'm going to go with that one next. So yeah, well, apart from the lads and talking about that sort of stuff on Tuesday, we'll probably delve a little bit deeper and see if there's any other sort of players that take our fancy. But that'll be left up to the poll. We are literally at the mercy of the people on Twitter.
We are. Have you got any positives to take away from that game?
Well, that's where I'm going to go next. Who's your man at match first? If you had to pick a man match for us, who's your shining light?
I don't know if there was one, if I'm completely honest. Probably Rafinha. I think Melier did well. I think he did really well, but he let himself down with that free kick. But he did make some really good saves, and they were so cool when they were having the ball played back to him and being chased down. They were really cool playing it out and didn't panic, you know. Did boot it out a few times, but it didn't appear to be panicking.
I'd rather be booted out than booting him back of our net, though, to be honest.
Well, yeah, exactly. I'd take that every day at week. But yeah, I thought Rafinha were great, and he had a lot of success getting past the Newcastle defenders and into the box, and he had them on strings at one point. He was just running through and round everybody, and you just look at him and think, how the hell does he do it? You know, and all the pundits are like, he's off in the summer, he's off in the summer. Probably is off in the summer. Do you know what? But as long as we get a decent fee for him and rebuild.
Rumored contract negotiations that are going on. Apparently, he's on about 50 grand a week at minute. They're supposed to be upping it, you know, doubling it to 100 grand.
I'm gonna say you don't keep a player like that on 50.
You're gonna have to do for some incentive to stick around for maybe even another season. You know, whether we're going to invest in the summer and bring in some really, really good quality striker.
I'm hoping that he'll give us another couple of seasons. Yeah,
I do as well. But we need to make significant improvements this year to kind of challenge for where we should be.
Yeah, we do definitely.
I mean, we're a mid-league table. We are at mid-league table. We're a mid-table sort of team at the minute, and that's where we should be looking at. But unfortunately, we've been absolutely ravaged by whether you're reading into COVID too much or not. But, the injuries and stuff like that have been absolutely comical, haven't they? It's been ridiculous.
They have. We've just had no luck at all. And if we didn't keep getting these bullshit injuries, we'd probably be a bit further up. But it is what it is. We are where we are. I think with his age, he could probably afford to give us another 2 seasons, and then he can make his big move if we've not progressed. But it just depends on how ambitious he is, how much he loves the club, and how much of an arse his agent is in trying to get him somewhere else. Do you know what I mean?
He's one of them sort of players that he's got such an adaptive style that he'd be able to fit into probably any sort of way, any style of football, regardless of who he signs for. I think so. He will move on at some point. There's no doubt.
He will.
Whether he can extend his contract, hopefully, and fancy a different challenge somewhere rather than just saying, right, see you later, lads, I'm off to school more. I don't think he will.
No, God, that'd kill us, I think.
It would.
I think the contract thing is more probably about security to get us a big fee than it is to keep him long term, if I'm honest. But fingers crossed, anything can happen in football.
Well, you say that, but you don't know, do you? Because we don't know what they're planning on, what sort of signings they're looking at into the future, into the summer window and all that sort of stuff. You get 3 or 4 really, really good quality players. We're challenging for Europe at the end of the day. As long as we maintain the squad, that ain't getting ravaged by frigging injuries every 5 minutes, and we're at the bare bones and having to rely on
That's right. And I mean, a lot of it, you get influenced by what you hear in press, don't you? And all you ever hear from pundits are, he needs to play Champions League football. He'll be off in the summer. They don't actually know anything. They're just speculating, but you hear it that often, you start to think that way, and you start to think that's what's going to happen. So,
but it's always going to be for a player like Rafinha. It's always going to be an attractive prospect, Champions League, or, Europa League, or whatever. Whereas a player like Dallas, not that I'm saying Dallas would leave, but for a manager to come and try and poach Dallas away, he's probably not as adaptive as Rafinha would be. Rafinha is a creative midfielder who would be able to go into anywhere, whereas Dallas is, he's not. And I saw something on Twitter that came up, I think it was 5 or 6 years ago, and when we had Lasogga up front and stuff like that, Dallas were on bench.
Oh, yeah. Lasogga
Dallas is one of our best players in the Premier League, and he were on the bench behind frigging Sabitsky. We're in the starting 11. Vieira. I just thought, Christ alive, what we're saying. Dallas is my favourite player at Leeds, apart from Phillips.
He's a proper club man, isn't he?
Legend.
He's a proper club man. I mean, the thing with Dallas is he's unfashionable. He's not somebody that other clubs would probably look at that much. And you probably from the outside underestimate what he does. But there's a few players at Leeds which it's probably a credit to Bielsa as much as else that the people who are probably greater than the sum of the parts because they're in the right place, in the right environment with the other players, and it's just something that's clicked and it works, Yeah. And you take a few of those players out and put them elsewhere, and I don't think they would achieve the levels that they have at Leeds. I really don't.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to cover my man at match. Now we've digressed ever so slightly.
Yeah, we've just gone off on them.
I'm going with Llorente. I thought Llorente had an excellent game. Apart from rugby tackling, right at the end. Well, not right at the end. Obviously, I think it was about 75, 70. We
could have really done without that, to be fair.
Like, oh no, why have you done that? He's absolutely quality, is Llorente.
He is really good. He reads the game well. He distributes the ball well. He's skillful.
He's just so calm and confident. He's like the Melier of centre backs.
He's our best defender.
And him and Strike next to him. Cooper will eventually get back into the starting 11, but it'd be a shame.
Yeah, he will. Yeah.
Not that I'm slating Cooper before people start.
It's all right. Matt's not here. You're allowed to.
I just think Cooper and he's not as good as Strike or Llorente, and those are our best centre back pairing. That's it.
We want the best. I genuinely think
best players playing for the team.
You do. I genuinely think if you asked Cooper, he'd probably say the same. He'd probably say, "Yeah, I'm not as good as Llorente."
But I don't think he would.
I think he would. If
I don't think that humble, are they?
He seems like a pretty down.
You think he would do? Oh yeah, well I'm shit, mate. I'd play striker.
I'm not saying shit. I'm saying he'd probably say, "Oh, he's just bloody established." Wasn't he international? He still is international. Fucking hell, I'm losing it.
He plays for Scotland. There's people in Pine P leagues that play for
Cooper,
Scotland.
bloody Llorente.
No, sorry. Yeah, funny.
I'm losing my marbles here. Yeah, I think he would look at him and just say, he's a real top defender. He's played at the top level a lot longer than Cooper has. I think Cooper would probably admit he's a better player. Might not sort of want to admit it, but I think he would be quite honest. I just get that impression from him. I just do.
Maybe.
Could be wrong.
Maybe not.
Maybe not.
You don't know.
Who knows? Who cares? Don't really matter, does it?
we don't know how these players. One thing I will say is it's nice to see Click starting to play really well again.
Yeah, a few people
really starting to play well again. A couple of lads, obviously, like Harrison, Click as well. There's been a few players that started at the start of the season that weren't really hitting that form that they were in the season before. Click, maybe as an exception because he didn't really seem to be in form from last sort of Christmas.
It's been a long time. He's been a bit ropey.
But he seems to be making waves. He's playing really well at the minute.
Do you think Thomas Christensen turns TV off when he sees Click?
Probably. He goes and whips himself with palm leaves.
He goes punching himself in bollocks.
Idiot. But it is what it is. That just goes to show you, obviously players don't always fit everyone's style, and that's a prime example of it. But yeah, it is what it is.
Got a comment from Gilly there. It's worth reading out.
Let's have a look. I didn't see that because I'm over and over it. Wonder if Click will be in bother.
Now, I saw something today online where somebody had put a screenshot where someone had written, "Didn't help taking Click off," and Click had liked it. Was it you? I don't remember, mate. Today's been a blur.
Yeah,
I thought you were just doing like some weird finger exercises for a minute there. I wasn't sure what was going on.
No, Christ. I've got that many people here anyway. So last night I put a tweet out saying, for me, if you replace Roberts with Gellert, then you win that game. We were on top, and as soon as Roberts was on that touchline, it sucked the life out of the crowd. If it's Gellert, then the crowd roars, it gets behind the team in full force. A bad decision, that. And obviously, there was a guy who commented on it, and he said, taking Click off did not help either. And I got a notification through saying Click liked that comment, but obviously he unliked it.
Did he?
Yeah, no, he did. He straight unliked it because that probably got him bothered, but you don't want to see that sort of shit, do you?
No, you don't.
Click booted his Click booted the water bottles on his way off.
See, I didn't see that. I don't think I was paying attention. I was watching something else at the time.
We'll get it the game. Were you at the game, Billy, or did you watch it on TV? I'm not sure.
I think he was there. He just avoided us.
He'd have probably taken his binoculars out. Clearly watching the wrong thing.
He's got some of them on a stick.
Massive click, bloody booting bottles around.
He's got some of them on a stick, like in Pretty Woman when she's at horse racing.
I don't know. I don't watch Netflix, mate. Says a lot about you rather than a lot about me.
Mate, I can't remember much, but I can remember shit films I've seen in the last 20 years.
Oh, Christ, you'd be getting some ammo off some folk now. Right, mate. We need to... I was in North East.
There you go.
I was in Nell.
Nell.
I don't really have much, apart from a few positives that we've taken. I suppose the biggest positive now is that we've got a gap over the break and we don't have another game for 2.5 weeks-ish.
Yeah.
Plenty of time to get the players back, plenty of time to hopefully recoup some injured players, and then we'll go again. Aston Villa and Everton in it within a few days of each other, both away.
That's right, yeah.
And then we've got Scum at home on the 18th, is it?
Oh, God knows. I've put my phone down now. I can't see.
20th of February, we've got Scum at home, which will be one to watch, definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
I've never been to a Leeds v Scum game ever.
Have you not?
Never. So
that was my first game.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and we won, bizarrely.
All right, so.
Like 1994.
You're wearing that shirt again. That's not a lucky shirt, that.
No, it didn't work, did it? It didn't work.
Tell you what. Your oil and cat skin.
I can't believe that I left my clean hoodie at home. And the only one that I had with me were one that were covered in absolute shite from rolling around under cars. Fucking hell. And it was that cold I had to wear it.
No.
It was freezing.
But yeah, I think we'll wrap this up. I'm not really...
Well, Randall's come to see me off here.
Is that what you call your cat, Randall?
Yeah, this one's Randall.
You lose a bet. Why would you call your cat Randall?
Because it looks a bit like Randall from Monsters, Inc.
Right, okay, fair enough. Right, I think that's literally all we've got time for. I'm sure we'll go into more, well, not that we can go into much more depth. We've got one more comment from Michael Brown regarding the bottle showdown. Bottlegate. Pablo last season booted the water bottle after being subbed off after the 4-1 home defeat to Leicester, and Bielsa did not include Pablo in the squad for the next game against Crystal Palace.
He don't take kindly to outbursts, does he?
Depends how much you read into it. I don't know. I didn't see it. It's the first time I've heard of it. Gilly obviously talking about it, but I don't know.
I like a player to be annoyed that they're getting subbed.
Yeah, it shows that they're passionate about it, and it's a good thing, in my opinion.
Yeah.
If you want to go and kick shit out of someone and stamp on the face outside the pitch, I'd go, fuck you, crack on. Pull one of the away fans out at stands and start knocking shit out of them. Good on you.
Jesus Christ. We don't actually encourage that kind of thing on this podcast.
So we don't encourage violence on the letter. But no, I think that's it. We will reconvene Tuesday. As long as we've got enough people to come back.
I think we'll be fine.
Until then, keep your eyes out for the poll. There'll be a poll going up for obviously the main subject of the pod. But until then, we will see you next time.